Yo, what's poppin', people? Your boy Snacks is back in the building with another banger. And you know how we do before we get started. Y'all know we like to show the love to the viewers, to you, to say thank you for taking the time out to watch this video. But while you're here, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And y'all know we love your comments in the comment section. So feel free and let's have a discussion down there in the comment section. Shedeur Sanders draft slide still has me perplexed. And I understand that it was mostly because of Deion Sanders, but people think that it was because of the things he said and the way he talked, which had something small to do with it. But I think it has more to do with the past and what he done as a player, and even more to do with what happened when he was drafted, was to be drafted. It's not going to be long, so let's talk about it. As we know, when Deion Sanders was drafted, there was the talk of he wasn't going to interview with a lot of teams. He didn't have the time to talk with a lot of teams. He only wanted to speak with the top teams in the top of the draft order. And one of those teams that is very well known to have been in that interview process is the New York Giants. And the New York Giants has been owned by the Mara family for 3 generations. And when Deion draft class came up, the Mara family was owned by the two fathers. I think it was John or somebody in Wellington, the two brothers, because the franchise was passed down to them by their father. And now, John Mara currently owns, well, the Mara and the Tish family own a 50-50 stake in the New York Giants. John Mara being the son of the late Wellington Mara. And the family only split the sale of the New York Giants back in the 90s after Deion was drafted, after the Tish family bought into the New York Giants 50%. But now John Mara currently owns the Giants. And when Deion was drafted, the most talked about story is that he went to interview with the Giants and simply asked them, what number are you guys drafting? And I think the number was like 18 or something like that. And Deion told him, no, I'm not even talking to y'all. I won't even be there when it's your turn. And also that they gave him a book, a big, thick test book for him to take a test. And he was like, no, I'm not doing that. And I think that grudge was held over by the son for embarrassing that family and that franchise, because that story about the Giants always comes to the forefront when people are talking to Deion Sanders about being drafted. By during the combine, he came in, didn't warm up, took off his sweats, and in his shorts, he ran a 4.2 40 without warming up, without stretching. And that was the only thing he did at the combine. And he went out the door. back to work because he was playing baseball at the time. Comes to 2025, and it's time for the son of that well-known, very, very popular, very loved superstar athlete Deion Sanders, Hall of Famer, to be drafted into the NFL and to punish Deion for all that pre-game talk, for all of that talk about the Giants, which isn't his fault. That story that always comes up always includes the Giants. The Giants had the second pick in the 2025 NFL draft. And Shedeur Sanders was one of the top quarterbacks in that draft class. And the Giants courted Shedeur Sanders, talked to him often, went to see him often. At the combine, they sent multiple staff members, not only just the owner, the GM, the head coach, the offensive coordinator, the quarterback coach, and a few others. Not only at the NFL Combine, that whole staff showed up at their pro day, including the Cleveland Browns, also with a complete staff, owner, GM, head coach, quarterback coach, offensive coordinator, and a few others, because they were heavily in the Shedeur Sanders business. So we've had several meetings. We've talked several times. We've done the whiteboard. We've done all of the things. A week before draft day, rumors start to spread, because now we've had time to talk. And this is our moment. This might be the only moment that we ever have in life that Deion Sanders can't control the outcome. And there's nothing he can do about it. So the New York Giants get together with the Cleveland owners and a few other people and say, hey, how about we let Shedeur go undrafted? And then somebody can pick him up as an undrafted free agent. So come round one, Shedeur Sanders got the big draft party going on. The NFL is expecting him to be drafted. Roger Goodell is set up to announce Shedeur Sanders. They're expecting it. The NFL has microphones in Shedeur's draft room. They have a special section set up to interview Shedeur Sanders after his number and name is called. Mind you, Shedeur Sanders is supposed to go 1, 2, 3, 4 in this draft. We don't know to who or to where. Only thing we know is Tennessee is going to draft Cam Ward first. We don't know if somebody's going to move up to get Shedeur, or the Giants are going to hold steady at 3 and pick Shedeur. But with all these rumors swirling, everybody is wondering. And a lady asked me, could I find that clip of Roger Goodell mentioning to Shedeur that he was scared of his pops when he got to the NFL?
Wait a second. What's going on? Hey, look. You doing all right? You gotta let my brother have his way in the league. Yeah, you gotta.
I'm worried about your pop.
What you worried about him for? Hey, big guy. One second. What's going on? How you doing? Hey, look. You doing all right? You gotta let my brother have his way in the league. Yeah, you gotta.
I'm worried about your pop.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The NFL is scared of Deion Sanders. Owners, GMs, even the commissioner. All of them were worried about Deion Sanders being involved with Shedeur, which he hasn't, which we knew he wasn't. Of course, he's going to be involved before he gets into the league. That's his son. That's what he's supposed to do. But come draft night, day one, Shedeur wasn't drafted. And we heard the draft speech, and we saw Mel Kiper standing on the table asking what the hell is wrong with the NFL, because the New York Giants not only didn't draft Shedeur Sanders at that number 3 position, they came back in at number 25 and drafted Jackson Dart from Ole Miss. But you got to remember, the Giants are still, that son, John, is pissed at Deion Sanders for embarrassing, and still to this day, embarrassing the Giants organization. Why do you think Danny Cannell hates Deion Sanders? Because the last pass Danny Cannell threw was to Deion Sanders, pick 6. Deion read him like a book. Danny Cannell rolling left. Deion played off because he knew he had the speed to make up. Took that pick. Danny Cannell got blocked heavy, and Deion Sanders walked into the end zone. And Danny Cannell has never been up under center again. But come the second day of the draft, Shedeur Sanders wasn't drafted. Come third round of the draft, come fourth round of the draft, Shedeur Sanders gets a prank phone call. Y'all see this collusion tying in. Don't forget to hit the like button while you're here. Shedeur Sanders gets a prank phone call that says, hey, this is the GM of the New Orleans Saints. And then we find out that that's not the GM of the New Orleans Saints. That is Jax Ulbrich, the son of the defensive coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons, Jeff Ulbrich. Now, mind you, Shedeur gets a prank phone call, which Shedeur gets a new number because Sprint sends him a brand new phone with a new number Wednesday, the day before the draft. Now, how did Jack Ulbrich's son know that Shedeur wasn't going to be drafted and he would be able to call Shedeur on a Saturday during round 4 of the NFL draft? That number came in on a Wednesday. Went out to the NFL, hey, I got a new number. This is how you reach me during the draft. When my number's called, because I'm not coming to Green Bay. And it was known that Shedeur and Travis wasn't going to Green Bay. Prime had planned a party for them all to celebrate with their teammates and be drafted in Colorado. That didn't happen because Travis wanted to walk across that stage, which he has earned that right. And Coach Prime supported that. But the question is, how did Jax Ulbrich get that number? That random new number that came in on a Wednesday, the day before the draft, when Jackson Albrecht was supposed to be in Mississippi because he goes to school at Ole Miss. So you telling me he drove from Mississippi to Atlanta and back to Mississippi on a random Wednesday? A random Wednesday. When we know what's going on. Or did Jeff Albrecht send Jax Albrecht that phone number and say, here you go, son, because my friends in New York want to continuously punish Shedeur. He won't be drafted in the first round. He won't be drafted in the second round. So call him on day 2 in the 3rd, 4th round and make the call. My question is, Jax Albrecht, if he was already at home on a random Wednesday, why did he go back to school at the end of the week? No student goes back to school at the end of the week. The end of the week is party time. We trying to come home. A lot of us has been to college. We understand that. So my question is, Jax Albrecht drove home on a random Wednesday, or was he already at home and he drove back to school on a random Thursday or Wednesday and made a phone call on a Friday? Somebody answer me that. Tell me if it makes sense. Because see, the effort the NFL has gone through to punish Coach Prime and his son, Shedeur, has completely backfired. They have turned Shedeur into a even bigger talent than he was. They turned him into a martyr. They wanted a sacrificial lamb, but you got a martyr. And now your 5th round rookie quarterback has sold more jerseys than any rookie drafted before him or after. Your 5th round rookie quarterback is the headline of every sports outlet every day since draft day. Your 5th round rookie quarterback is the headline of every sports talk show on the internet, on linear television every day. And the question is, the Cleveland Browns, why did they break rank? Because I'm telling you, the plan was for Shedeur to go undrafted and make a complete mockery of the Sanders family, to break Prime and show him that you have no control and you shouldn't have done what you've done to my family. Because the New York Giants are still hearing that draft story at least once a month. When Prime makes appearances, when Prime makes videos, when other shows talk about Deion, that always comes up. And the New York Giants are in the forefront. And they are the laughing stock of that story. And now of NFL football. Because you should have drafted Shedeur Sanders. But you drafted a well unprepared Jackson Dart, who is nowhere near the caliber of quarterback that Shedeur Sanders is, and nowhere near as prepared to play NFL football as Shedeur Sanders is. Jackson Dart needs about 2 years to take a seat and get ready. Yes, you have two veteran quarterbacks in front of him, but that's not what you wanted. See, Cleveland had enough balls to break that code and say, we're not going to do it anymore. We need a quarterback. We haven't had one in 40 plus years. We need a quarterback. We haven't had one since Bernie Kosar left the building. But the owner didn't tell the general manager and the head coach the plan. So in the third round, the Cleveland Browns drafted Dillon Gabriel and went on about their merry way and started doing other things. So come the fifth round, Mr. Haslam has had enough and said, hey, Shedeur Sanders is still on the freaking board. Do you know what type of talent he is? I am friends with his father, and this game has gone long enough. Go get me that guy, because that's our quarterback. And that's why Mr. Berry and his head coach and the rest of their staff looked so shit-faced after they had to draft Shedeur Sanders in the fifth round at the 144th pick of the 2025 NFL draft. Shedeur Sanders to the Cleveland Browns. And Dillon Gabriel, I'm sure, was at home with his mouth sitting on the floor talking about, what are we doing? Why did we do this? You just drafted me 2 rounds ago. Now I got to compete with him? My God. Now, the Cleveland Browns have more sports coverage than they've had since the inception of their franchise, and they don't know what to do. The NFL has made a mockery of itself, and all of it is beginning to come to light as Shedeur every day is showing to be the best quarterback that the Cleveland Browns have on staff. And now it's becoming undeniable. Kevin Stefanski is hiding him when they have an open practice so the media can watch. He is only letting him perform with the 3s and the 4s, and still he is outperforming Dillon Gabriel and the rest. It has been known that Dillon Gabriel is struggling, even with the 3s and the 4s. He can't complete the same amount of passes that Shedeur Sanders has when he's with the 3s and the 4s, let alone with the 1s or the 2s. Dillon Gabriel is really, 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 really having a rough time and a rough go at it. But Shedeur Sanders, under the cloak of no media, is with the 1s, and he's showing his ass. And now, open practices are coming. Kevin Stefanski is going to have to make up his mind. Do we hide Shedeur Sanders until training camp and just let him practice with the 3s and the 4s? Or do we give up the ghosts and show the world how great he is by letting him practice with the 1s and the 2s? Because once it's seen, it can't be unseen. Once he's seen with the 1s, and it is put in the internet, on this ether space, you can't take it back. You can't change it. And there will be no way in the hell Dillon Gabriel, Kenny Pickett will start over Shedeur Sanders. Because once again, let me reiterate, Shedeur Sanders is the most pro-ready, NFL-ready quarterback in this draft class. and those of you that are new here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, are asking me, how do you figure that Shedeur is better or more pro ready than any other quarterback in this draft class? Because Shedeur has been working with pro receivers and defensive backs since he's been in high school. He has been throwing to them, and he's been throwing at them for a long time. Shedeur Sanders works out with pros. And then he has one of the best quarterback coaches in the game, young Darryl of QB Select, who also trains Cam Ward. That's why Cam Ward's motions, his throwing motion, his footwork, all of that looks so good. That's why Cam is NFL ready. Shedeur Sanders is better than the quarterbacks in his draft class and now on his team. I don't expect Shedeur to start game one, but after they come from London, maybe before or when they go to London, Shedeur will start. The thing here is you have to understand the coach and the GM at some point is going to have to bite that bullet. Is going to have to swallow their pride because Dillon Gabriel was their pick. Shedeur wasn't their man. Dillon Gabriel was their pick. And at some point, they're going to have to say, this pick is better than our third round pick, which we know Shedeur is better because he should have been a first round pick. The tape says it 100 times. The tape says it. He was crowned the best quarterback in NCAA, the most accurate quarterback in NCAA football history, the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award winner, and the whatever that other quarterback trophy is in college. That guy. His teammate won the Heisman Trophy. The one he was throwing the ball to. That guy. His other three receivers all drafted in the 2025 draft. Those guys. But the quarterback is drafted in the 5th round. Make it make sense. It is collusion all day. The Giants want to pay back. Some of the GMs and some of the owners in the NFL want to pay back because this was the only time that you could attack Coach Prime and he could do nothing about it. The only way to hurt him was through his sons, because anything you threw at him, he has pushed aside, pushed off, made it positive, and made money off of it. You can't attack him and he doesn't profit. What most owners and what most GMs understand about Deion, Coach Prime Sanders, is that his name, his word, his voice, his tweets, his Instagram posts, his YouTube videos, all of them carry weight. Whatever he touches is golden. His words mean something, especially in the Black community. His words mean something. And he doesn't come at people the wrong way. He doesn't attack people for attacking him. But he does it smartly on the defensive end and takes what you give and turns it into something positive and then turns it into money. Because in this culture, in my culture, in our culture, Deion Sanders is that boy. He's that man. He's one of them. In the NFL, Hall of Famer, the best to ever do it at his position. GOAT is what his label is. And a lot of them don't understand it because they don't understand us. They don't understand how we rock. They don't understand our culture. They understand that all those gold chains, those sunglasses, those hats, those one-liners, they don't make sense. What's so good about that? What makes what he says or how he says it or how he does it so great? Why do people listen? They don't understand the culture. And that's the biggest problem with sports altogether. The NBA has tried and they're still trying. The NFL don't give a shit. They just want bodies. And most of those bodies are black. But see, when you got a kid like Shedeur Sanders that's going to the NFL, that's one of the best players at his position, at one of the highest profile positions in the league. The face, the man, the cameras are always going to be on you. Something he's done all his life. He's not going to the NFL with his hand out. He's not walking into those meeting rooms with his head down like he needs to be there. And in those meetings, he has questions. What are your plans for me? See, most players can't ask those questions when they're in a meeting room. Most players can't say, tell me, if you draft me, what are you going to do to protect me? What type of scheme are we going to run? Is it going to be a run-based scheme where we're running more 12 or 22 type offenses where I got protection and time to go? Are you going to invest in your offensive line, in your tight ends? Don't worry about your wide receivers. I'm going to make them great anyway. But are you going to invest to keep me healthy where I can have a long career? See, most players in the draft can't walk in those rooms and ask those questions. But I promise you, Shedeur asked those questions because he was prepared. He knew how the draft process works. And that's why you heard that coach say he made me feel small. How can a person that's being drafted by you make you feel small? Because he was prepared for all of the garbage that you were going to try to feed him. And he answered him. And then he turned the tables around on you and said, excuse me, my turn. I got something for you. Because see, the rumors came out that he was treating it like a recruiting trip. Yes, he did. The reason they said that because he asked questions in those meetings. The thing that hardly nobody ever does. And he knew which questions to ask. And they didn't like it. First, they didn't expect it. People said he should have had an agent. He didn't need an agent. He had his father. They've been through this. He had his father's team, who also has other players in the NFL. They've been through this. They know what they're doing. People want to holler, well, Shiloh signed with an agent. Shiloh signed with an agent after he was going to Tampa Bay. Because, yes, you need an agent to go through that contract. And that's Drew Rosenhaus, and he know how to get to the bank. Shedeur didn't need an agent. Not for that draft process. Money was already set for each draft selection. The pay is already there. Yes, you can work out some other things. Bigger signing bonus, maybe. But all that could be done with the people he's already with. The people who's been handling his talented career all this time. The NFL colluded against Shedeur Sanders and Deion Sanders to try to embarrass them and only embarrass themselves, because now that 5th round draft pick is more popular than any person in the NFL right now. Aaron Rodgers signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers 2 days ago. And as soon as those headlines went up, Shedeur Sanders headlines replaced them. And they're still replacing them today. Next week, you got 3 open mini camp practices. And Shedeur Sanders is going to eat up your Twitter feed, eat up your Facebook feed, squander your YouTube algorithm, your TikToks. He will be everywhere. And there is no one else to blame but the NFL, the New York Giants, and those few select owners that decided that they needed their lick back. Can't get your lick back. You cannot humble a family of humbled individuals. It looks arrogant and shiny and standoffish to you because you don't understand our culture. For us, that's just Deion being Deion. That's just Shedeur being Shedeur. See, because as a community, we've watched these kids grow up. They've been on reality shows, 2 or 3 of them. We like football. Their father was on TV all the time. But now, you come in with your humbling process, your determination to hurt a family, because one man was great at his job. And he talked a lot of trash after he played his games, but was great when he played them. He was a whole lot flashy for y'all, with all the jewelry and all the dance moves and all the celebrities. Hey, those people are still his friends. And those people still support him. And those people still show up at Colorado. Y'all need to give Coach Prime his props. Stop hating and understand that the man is good at every freaking thing he puts his mind to. Jackson State. 2 turn it around. We'll start with those high schools. Y'all forgot Shedeur won high school championships. Offensive coordinator Deion Sanders. College. He got 2 championships, SWAC championships in college. Deion Sanders. Colorado, 4-8, 9-4. Nobody knew who Colorado was. We forgot all about Colorado, even had a football team until Deion Sanders showed up. And you can't tell me I didn't know who Colorado was. I used to wear a Colorado hat back in the day when they were good. I supported Cordell and them. See all this gray? Yeah, I'm that old. So yes, I remember those days. I was in college. I was in right down the street at Arizona State while they was over there clowning. So yes, I remember. I watched it. Went to a few games. Yeah, we come from Arizona and go to Boulder and watch a game or two. We had money back then. We was doing some things. You know what I'm talking about? But y'all need to celebrate Deion Sanders for what he has accomplished so far at the University of Colorado. And it's only going to get better. Caden Salton and Juju are bananas. Y'all do not realize how great those 2 quarterbacks are. There won't be 1 quarterback starting for Colorado this season. There will be 2. That is a 2 quarterback system that they are working on. The receiver room, once again, will be great. And it's packed full of young, hungry receivers. Those receivers that came in this year with Juju will graduate with Juju or go to the NFL with Juju come their junior season. Coach Prime is finna make some noise in Colorado. See, because y'all wanted him to fail. Y'all thought he was going to be gone now that Shedeur and Shiloh and Travis are gone. He's not. He's not leaving. He told y'all, but y'all don't listen. Y'all keep making assumptions. He has a goal in college football, and that is to be the first black coach to win a national title. And I think he can do it. And I think he's going to do it. He couldn't get it done with his sons, which would have been wonderful. But he will get it done. Do you see the amount of 4 and 5 stars that they are recruiting to Boulder now? Watch it happen. Because what kids are understanding is that Colorado is the best place you can get prepared to go into the NFL. Their whole staff are ex-NFL players, 3 Hall of Famers, and a bunch of all-pros. So, their whole wide receiver class, the only wide receiver room in college football to be drafted into the NFL, all of them. Colorado had more wide receivers drafted than any other football team in the nation. Shedeur Sanders, that offense they ran at Colorado is the same offense they're going to run in Cleveland. Kevin Stefanski's playbook is Pat Shermer's playbook. Of course, there will be tweaks. Of course, there will be a few changes here and there, but the concepts, the routes, the basics of Kevin Stefanski's offense is the offense he took from Pat Shermer when they were in Minnesota together. That's Pat Shermer's offense that Kevin Stefanski runs. Now y'all understand why Shedeur is better and ahead of all the quarterbacks in Cleveland except Joe Flacco. Why? Because Joe Flacco has run that offense before. Yeah, we got a few terminology changes, a few things here and there, but other than that, Shedeur Sanders is a monster. Yeah, Shedeur Sanders is going to have to learn a few things. There's going to be a few changes, like coming from under center and turning your back to the defense. But those are things that can be learned and learned quickly because he is a fast learner. But the offensive scheme, the route running, the plays, the terminology is easily picked up. But that's the same freaking offense that we ran the last 2 years. Come here, coach. That's why y'all need to get ready. But I'm going to get out of here, man, because I have stood on my soapbox long enough. Unlike our guy that stands on the step mill. We have been on our soapbox for a while. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's talk about it in the comment section as we always do. Looking forward to it. We usually don't do this on the way out, but I'm going to holler at y'all. Y'all have a wonderful day. I'm out. Peace.
Thank you. God bless you all, man. Be safe.